Turing's Chief Commercial Officer, Nancy Retzlaff, is with me right now. In earlier testimony, she said that 2/3 of Daraprim patients had been receiving the drug at a steep discount through government programs. Anyway, she joins me right now to talk more about it. Nancy, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So what was the feeling like, the background, when Martin Shkreli first advocated raising the price by 5,000% within the company?
Well, we obviously, as a senior leadership team, we had a lot of discussions about it.
Right.
But in the end, the team was aligned with that decision for a couple of reasons. First, and on a couple of conditions, really. So first, that the company was absolutely committed to ensuring every patient got access regardless of their ability to pay. And second, that the company was committed to investing in research and development. And we continue to invest in research and development today, our focus being, at the moment, toxoplasmosis programs.
But we know what happened right after the price was raised by 5,000%. First of all, it created this firestorm. Hillary Clinton tweeted out saying, look, this needs to be corrected. When and if I win to be the president, I'm going to control drug prices. And then on top of that, another generic company comes out, and rather than charging $850 a pill, as you guys were charging, up from $13 a pill, he charged $1 a pill. How do you justify such an expensive drug when the guy down the block is charging $1?
So first, just want to clarify a few things. There is no single price for Daraprim. And I think what didn't come across in some of these hearings was that over 60% of patients access our product through government programs. They pay a penny per pill. So that's the only revenue Turing receives from that.
Well, what if the government wasn't there? If they had to buy it just from you, they're paying 5,000% increase, right?
Well, based on mandatory rebates, we have to provide that kind of a rebate. But, the other 30% actually get their drug through commercial insurance. And commercial insurance, yes, they do pay closer to the list price, but importantly, it's a very small patient population, and those revenues, we reinvest them right back into R&D.
So you basically said to yourselves, okay, look, 60% of this is going to be paid by government. Another 30% of it's going to be paid by private insurance companies. Let them pay.
Again, just to put things in context, you've got a disease, our product is used in about 3,000 patients. So about 1,000 patients are covered with commercial insurance. And so the impact, given the small volume on the commercial insurer from a price per member per month is minuscule. It's in pennies.
So you think that because others deep-pocketed people like the government, like private insurance companies, because they were paying for much of it, you figured that totally justifies raising prices of drugs by 5,000%. Is that what you're saying?
Well, we had a plan to increase the price with, again, a plan to address a disease that had been virtually ignored for 60 years. So for 60 years, no pharmaceutical company had the incentive to innovate. No generic company even had the incentive to develop a copy. And I think what people are forgetting in this conversation is that there is a need for toxoplasmosis research. There are still hundreds of patients in the U.S. who die from this disease. There are tens of thousands who go blind.
But how do you make the case that you really care about those people when you're actually bankrupting them with the 5,000% increase in the price?
I'm not bankrupting them. In fact, I've got patient access programs in place that ensures every patient who needs Daraprim can get it regardless of their ability to pay. And again, it's all contingent on what you do with those revenues. And I think I think we should be held accountable, frankly, for reinvesting into R&D and ensuring our patient access programs.
And you haven't addressed that other company, the generic company that came out with the drug for $1.
Right, the compounding company. So first, frankly, I don't think there's a need for a compounding product.
Well, there was a need because people couldn't afford your drug, so they needed it at a price that they could actually afford. So clearly there was a need.
Again, our product is affordable through all of our patient access programs. For commercial insurers, we cap their copays at $10. Again, as I told you, most
so then why take the price, if it's affordable, why take the price up 5,000%?
We took the price up 5,000% because we saw that there was a neglected disease that nobody had paid attention to in 60 years, and there was a significant need for innovation.
So you basically said, okay, there's a small population of people who need this drug. Let's take advantage of them.
No, that's not what we said at all. In fact, I think everybody wins from this. Clearly, with our patient access programs, patients today are, getting the therapy, and they can so at an affordable price because of the programs we have in place. And, we're looking to the future and addressing the needs of those patients. Again, there are many dying, still many going blind, and we need new alternatives. Not every patient responds to Daraprim. Not every patient, tolerates Daraprim. We desperately need new options.
Obviously, this put the company in the spotlight for a long time, created an investigation. Do you regret raising the price?
No, I don't regret raising the price. I think what I would have done differently was made sure that we had informed very, openly all our stakeholders of our intent, of what we intended to do with the incremental revenue, i.e. shared with them our research and development plans, shared with them our plans for patient access. I would have done that first in advance of increasing the price.
So these HIV, these AIDS patients are creating the revenue for you so that you could put it back in and create different drugs, is what you're saying?
For most HIV AIDS patients who suffer from toxoplasmosis, the majority of them get their medicine through government programs.
Have you spoken with Martin Shkreli since this all happened, since he sort of went undercover amidst this investigation?
So I think the last time I saw Martin was at the congressional hearing, and we haven't spoken, but he's sent me a couple texts asking me how the business is going, no differently than any other shareholder would.
How is the business going?
The business is in good shape. I believe we have an innovative business model. We've got a great business plan. And I think more importantly, Turing is 120 people, just across the street of, very skilled individuals, a lot of people with a lot of experience in the pharmaceutical industry with broad, diverse skill sets. And they're a fantastic team that's really committed to our vision.
So it sounds like in the future, if this situation arises again, whereas you see a population of people who need a certain drug, but you see that you're not seeing a lot of investment into that, you're perfectly fine raising that price by 5,000% again.
It depends on what you do with the revenues.
But that's not at all the only thing it depends on, what you do with the revenues. I mean, think about an HIV patient who's dying. He doesn't care, she doesn't care what you're doing with the revenue.
Yeah, I think two things. It depends on what you do in the revenues. If you're going to reinvest in innovation, if there's innovation that's needed, and you have patient access programs in place, which we do, to ensure that no patient should be denied therapy based on their ability to pay.
But they're not denied, but as long as you get paid. You're going to be getting paid the 5,000%.
Largely through commercial insurers. But again, we reinvest that into innovation. And if we were to go back to the old price, you go back to status quo, and I just don't think status quo is acceptable.
Real quick, what are you investing the money in? What's the more important development that you see that money needs to go to, so you're investing? Because you keep saying we're reinvesting it.
So I think our priority investment is in toxoplasmosis new therapies. And just last week, our scientists gave us an update. We've identified a new molecule, a DHFR inhibitor, same mechanism of action as Daraprim, but potential for less side effects and less toxicity. And we've identified 2 other molecules that could potentially treat toxoplasmosis through different modes of action. And the team is, really excited about that. So we've made some really good progress.
All right, we'll be watching that. Nancy, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Nancy Retzlaff,